Have you ever looked in the mirror after another disappointing date and wondered, what am I doing wrong? Have you reached that point where you're questioning whether love is even possible at this stage of life, or if you should just accept being alone? Today we talk about the 3 crucial changes that can transform your entire dating experience. Changes that have nothing to do with lowering your standards or settling for less, and everything to do with becoming magnetic to the right kind of love. I know you're tired. Tired of the games, tired of the disappointments, tired of well-meaning friends telling you to just be patient. But what if I told you that the problem isn't your age, your past, or the limited dating pool? What if the solution is simpler than you think, but requires the kind of honest self-reflection that only comes with maturity? Einstein once said, "Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results." And after watching thousands of women transform their dating lives, I can tell you that small shifts in 3 key areas create massive changes in outcomes. As Maya Angelou taught us, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Today, we're changing both. Before we dive deep, let me tell you about Patricia. At 58, she came to me absolutely defeated. "I keep attracting men who want a nurse or a purse," she said. "Either they need me to take care of them emotionally and physically, or they're clearly interested in my financial stability more than me as a person." Patricia was intelligent, successful, and had built a beautiful life for herself after her divorce. She owned her own consulting business, had raised 2 incredible children, and was financially secure. But somehow, every man she met seemed to see her as a solution to their problems rather than a partner for shared joy. Sound familiar? What happened to Patricia over the next 8 months illustrates exactly why these 3 changes are so powerful. By the end of today's discussion, you'll understand not just what she did differently, but why these shifts work at a psychological level that goes deeper than dating tactics. And before we get into those 3 changes, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This channel is where we talk about real love, real challenges, and real transformation after 50, and I don't want you to miss the insights that could change everything for you.
Change number 1 is transform what you project to the world. Here's a hard truth that might sting a little. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you project. And often, what we think we're projecting and what we're actually communicating are 2 completely different things. Patricia thought she was showing her independence and capability, but when we looked at her dating profile and how she presented herself in person, every single thing screamed, "I can handle everything myself." Her photos were all professional headshots or pictures of her at work events. Her conversations centered around her business success and how she'd overcome challenges. While these things are wonderful and should be celebrated, they were attracting men who thought, "Here's someone who can handle my problems too." The deeper issue here goes back to what psychologist Carl Jung called the persona, the face we show the world. Sometimes our persona becomes so focused on proving our strength that we forget to show our joy, our playfulness, our desire for partnership, rather than just our capability for independence. We worked with Patricia to show different facets of herself. We added photos of her hiking with friends, laughing at a wine tasting, reading in her garden. We shifted her conversation style from "I can handle anything" to "I love sharing experiences with people who matter to me." The result? Within 6 weeks, she was getting messages from men who wanted to share adventures, not dump their problems on her. As Brené Brown teaches us, vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. Your perfect match needs to see not just your strength, but your heart. Here's what most dating advice gets wrong. It focuses on tactics instead of energy. But attraction at our age is about energy alignment, not performance. When you project overwhelm, you attract people who add to that overwhelm. When you project scarcity, I need someone to complete me, you attract people who are also coming from scarcity. But when you project joy, fulfillment, and selective availability, you attract people who want to add to that joy, not drain it. Think about the women you know who seem to effortlessly attract wonderful partners. They're not necessarily the most traditionally beautiful or the most successful, but they have something magnetic about them. They seem genuinely happy with their lives and selective about who gets to join that happiness. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about leading with the parts of yourself that reflect the kind of relationship you want to have. If you want a joyful partnership, lead with your joy. If you want an adventurous partnership, lead with your sense of adventure. Change number 2. Evaluate your inner circle's impact on your love life. This one might be uncomfortable, but it's crucial. The people you spend the most time with are either supporting your romantic goals or sabotaging them. And often, they're doing it unconsciously, with the best of intentions. Patricia's closest friend group consisted of 3 divorced women who had all decided that men weren't worth the effort. Every girl's night turned into a session of sharing horror stories from dating apps. Every conversation about her dating life was met with warnings and skepticism. Now, I'm not saying these weren't wonderful friends in other areas, but they were creating an echo chamber of romantic pessimism that was seeping into Patricia's own energy and expectations. The late Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." This applies to your beliefs about love, your energy around dating, and your openness to possibility. Here's the deeper truth. Unpartnered people who are genuinely happy being single and supportive of your romantic goals are gold. But unpartnered people who are bitter, scared, or trying to convince you that all the good ones are taken will unconsciously pull you into their worldview. I'm not suggesting you end friendships, but I am suggesting you become conscious of their influence. Ask yourself, after spending time with certain friends, do you feel more optimistic or more pessimistic about dating? Do they celebrate your dating successes or find ways to diminish them? When you share excitement about someone new, do they help you see possibilities or immediately point out red flags? Patricia made a subtle but powerful shift. She started seeking dating advice and sharing dating updates with friends who were either happily partnered or genuinely supportive singles. She kept her other friendships, but redirected conversations away from dating complaints and toward positive topics. She also started seeking out new social connections with people who shared her interest in finding love. She joined a book club for people navigating life transitions and found herself surrounded by others who were actively creating positive change in their lives. The shift in her energy was remarkable. When you're surrounded by people who believe in love and possibility, you start believing in it more deeply yourself. As Oprah Winfrey says, surround yourself with only people who are going to lift you higher. And in dating, this means surrounding yourself with people who support your romantic aspirations, not undermine them.
Change number 3. Revolutionize where and how you spend your time. Here's where most women get stuck. They want to meet someone wonderful, but they're spending all their time in places where wonderful single men their age simply aren't. Patricia's weekly routine was work, gym with headphones on, dinner with the same 3 friends, and Netflix. Wash, rinse, repeat. Then she'd complain about not meeting anyone new while doing absolutely nothing to create opportunities for new connections. This isn't just about finding men. It's about becoming the kind of woman who lives a rich, varied life that naturally creates opportunities for meaningful connections. The breakthrough came when we identified activities that Patricia genuinely enjoyed but had stopped prioritizing. She loved art, but hadn't been to a gallery in 2 years. She'd always wanted to try photography, but convinced herself she was too old to start something new. Here's what Patricia did differently. She enrolled in a photography class at the local community college. She started volunteering at the animal shelter on Saturday mornings. She joined a hiking group for people over 50. She began attending gallery openings and wine tastings. Within 3 months, her entire life had expanded. She wasn't doing these things to meet men, she was doing them because they brought her joy. But joy is magnetic. When you're genuinely engaged in activities you love, you become more attractive to everyone around you, including potential romantic partners. The beautiful twist? She met David not at a singles event or on a dating app, but at a photography exhibition where she was displaying her work. He was there with his daughter, who was also an amateur photographer. Their first conversation was about art, then about their children, then about their shared love of travel. For the first time in years, I wasn't trying to find someone. I was just living my life fully, and the right person appeared in that full life, Patricia told me. Here's why this works. When you expand your activities, you expand your identity. Instead of being someone looking for love, you become someone living an interesting life. That shift in identity changes everything: how you show up, how you feel about yourself, and what kind of energy you project. Psychologist Abraham Maslow taught about the hierarchy of needs, with self-actualization at the top. When you're actively pursuing interests, learning new things, and contributing to causes you care about, you're operating from that self-actualized place, and that's incredibly attractive to emotionally healthy partners. Moreover, when you're engaged in meaningful activities, you're meeting people who share your values and interests. The conversations are richer, the connections more authentic, and the foundation for potential relationships much stronger. As the poet Rumi wrote, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. When you follow what you love, you often find love following you."
Patricia's story isn't unique because she was special. It's powerful because she made these 3 fundamental shifts that any of us can make. 6 months after implementing these changes, she wasn't just dating David. She was living a completely different life. She had new friends, new hobbies, and a renewed sense of purpose. Even if she hadn't met David, her life would have been infinitely richer. But she did meet David, and their relationship works because it's built on shared interests, mutual respect, and 2 people who were already living full lives, choosing to share those lives together. The 3 changes: transforming what you project, evaluating your social circle's influence, and expanding where you spend your time, work because they address the root causes of dating frustration, not just the symptoms. Remember this: discouragement in dating often comes from feeling powerless, like love is something that happens to us rather than something we can influence. But these 3 changes put the power back in your hands. You can't control who you meet or when, but you can control the energy you project, the influences you allow in your life, and the richness of the life you're living. And when you control these things, you create the conditions where love can flourish. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." Your dream of finding meaningful love isn't naive or unrealistic. It's the natural result of living authentically and fully. Don't let discouragement convince you to settle or give up. Let it motivate you to make the changes that will transform not just your dating life, but your entire life experience.
If you found value in Patricia's story and these 3 changes, please subscribe and share this with a friend who might need to hear it. Sometimes we all need permission to stop doing what isn't working and start doing what will. Tell me in the comments, which of these 3 changes resonates most with you? What's one small step you could take this week to start shifting your approach? And remember, you're not too old, too set in your ways, or too late to find beautiful love. You just need to be willing to do things differently than you've been doing them. Your person is out there, and these changes will help you find each other. Keep believing, keep growing, and keep your heart open to possibility.